Welcome to Education in Focus. I'm your host, Eliana Kernodle. A lawsuit by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton against the Austin-based Sunrise Homeless Navigation Center may spell trouble for its regulars and relief for those living and going to school nearby. Joining me to discuss this is Chalkboard News editor Brendan Clary. Brendan, what claims does this lawsuit lay out?
Yeah, essentially, the lawsuit lays out that there was criminal activity, including drugs, public indecency, and violations on and next to the grounds of the nearby elementary school. So there is kind of across the street from the homeless relief center, there is an elementary school called Joslin Elementary School. And there's also a public park that's kind of next to that. So these are kind of in close proximity to that homeless relief center, which is actually even out of a church. So this is a mission-based organization that is founded in a church to provide relief to homeless individuals. But essentially, along with that, there are allegations from the Attorney General's office. And again, this is a complaint. So when we're talking about these things, we have to say allegedly or reportedly, or, we have to be very careful to, ascribe legal guilt, essentially, because that's something that the court has to find out. Like, are these claims true or not? They have to go through those things and decide whether they have merit. So that's something, if you see that in reporting, that's not just journalists trying to say like, well, we're not sure. It's like, well, you kind of have like a responsibility to make sure that it's clear that those are not, foundationally like matters of legal fact yet, right? So these are allegations that are being raised by Attorney General Ken Paxton's office, and essentially, they allege that there was these drug paraphernalia near the school. There are some instances of people going to the bathroom in or near those like the public park, and also near that school. And so essentially that raised questions for the Attorney General's office. And they said that in the document that elementary school students as young as 4 years old and staff have seen homeless walking around naked, relieving themselves in public, and engaging in open drug use. So these are some of the allegations, some of the claims that people have said. And the lawsuit also indicates or says that school staff have indicated that students say they don't feel safe due to the operations of this homeless relief center. And, parents have said a very similar thing. So, and this is also, in the filing, you can see too that there's, a picture of syringes, like used syringes that were found near the homeless shelter. And there are these programs that some homeless center, and this particularly this one too, but other ones as well, they have like a safe syringe program. And that was one of the allegations raised here as well, is that this is, basically it's giving out free needles for drug users, which is safer. So it's like a harm reduction thing, but at the same time, does it incentivize drug use in those areas nearby? And so that's kind of the allegation then, is that this is violating common law and that this has created a public nuisance for the surrounding neighborhoods, right, who are afraid to go to school, they're afraid to go to the park because of the different issues that are going on there.
So there's kind of this element of it's drawing people there who wouldn't already be there.
Right. And that they are close to this elementary school, they're close to the neighborhood park, that they're close to these residential homes where people have had families. And, they never said we would like to have this ministry here. And in fact, like, it's actually reducing our quality of life, because we never know when, there could be somebody, again, allegedly like out there who is, unclothed or who is using drugs, and that, that does in some cases, allegedly pose these safety issues for these families. If you have young children and you used to be able to have them walk to school, then a homeless center opens up and is providing relief to people who need it. One of the questions that is raised in the lawsuit is like, should the surrounding residents have to pay in terms of like their own safety? Like, especially if they were not like a willing, affirmatively saying like, yes, we want this here, then it kind of raises the question of like, do they have to bear the brunt of that in terms of public safety. So that's kind of the question that this raises, and is of interest at Chalkboard because it's, within 200 feet reportedly of the Joslin Elementary School. Like, this is something that affects the students and the staff there. And I mean, there's pictures in the complaint of, homeless possessions near that elementary school, like right up against a fence. And, there's different allegations in that as well of homeless people being near and in the school grounds.
And so how has Sunrise responded to this lawsuit?
Yeah, they basically said that they called the lawsuit regrettable. That they said they wish it hadn't happened, especially during this was before Thanksgiving. So they said, leading up to the holiday, they wish that this hadn't happened, but they will keep offering services to people in the community who need them, essentially. So that's what they said is we're going to keep on doing what we have been doing. And, quote, we are committed to being a good neighbor. We will continue to work every day to support Joslin Elementary School, our neighborhood, and our entire community. And then they also alluded to a defense in the court system and basically said, as a religious ministry, we have the right to keep operating. So, quote, as a faith-based ministry of Sunrise Community Church, our mission and obligation is to take care of the poor. Churches are protected under the First Amendment and the U.S. Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, as well as the Texas Religious Freedom Restoration Act. These laws have been tested in court on multiple occasions, always with the same result. Churches are protected to do work that is an expression of their religious practice. So we are going to maybe have a big showdown here in the court system, in the legal system. On the one hand, you have the Attorney General saying, this is an alleged public nuisance that people didn't sign up for, and you can't operate this homeless ministry so close to in this neighborhood, essentially. And then on the other side, saying as a ministry of a church, we have the freedom to do this, and you can't stop us because this is an expression of our religious practice. So it is going to be an interesting, legal showdown, and we'll try to stay on top of it here at Chalkboard News, with what lies ahead.
Well, Brennan, thank you for your insights on this story. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at chalkboardnews.com.